Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber once again here to do another One Piece chapter review, chapter 1137, introducing Shamrock. I'm a bit behind on this chapter review, I will admit, and I've just realized I've put in the wrong number for the title. Hold on, let me just correct that quickly. There we go. I'm sorry about that. But this chapter I've been a bit behind since I've just been busy reviewing other manga and also a bit of stuff going on in my life. Being too busy in my life at the moment. But let's see, with the fact that Oda went 4 chapters in a row and now is taking a break, it's a bit of an achievement, and it means that I need to probably catch up in order to be up to date on One Piece review chapters. So yeah, especially with the following chapter, which many are considering one of the best chapters that has ever been put out for One Piece. So I really got to get up to there. Anyway, this chapter pretty much follows up from last one, where the Straw Hats continue to celebrate with the Giants of Elbaf, where Luffy learns a little bit about Nika and the fact that there are various different beliefs about him. Though cannot quite connect the dots that he is like the Sun God, the new incarnation of the Sun God, as well as learning that Loki may or may not be a bit of a bad guy. Let's see, a bit of more bad guy than he believes, so he wants to go find out, which he eventually ends up doing with Zoro and Nami, returning to the classic trio, along the ride with Road, who, after a bit of a forced apology, is now being forced to become Nami's slave. Meanwhile, you have the mysterious 2 cloaked figures. Let's see, one of them, I believe, called Gunko, has ended up sort of like trying to recruit Loki to let me just double check Gunko, the Holy Knight, which I will admit it's a full design, which had a bit of controversy with I suppose you could say, the lower half, but on social media. Let's see, ended up trying to recruit Loki to join the Holy Knights, but Loki ends up refusing. So what will be the response of Loki? Let's see, what will be the response of Loki's refusal by the Guards Knights, and what will the Straw Hat trio find? Let's see, the key to unlock Loki, and will there be an inevitable clash between the Guards Knights and the Straw Hats on the horizon? But at first, let's see, we've got, of course, the cover chapter for 1137. Where we got Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 23. Infiltrate the sketchy hideout, in which we see Yamato and Tama popping their heads through, I suppose you could say, a sort of window, for better left the term. Let's see, of Wano, or at least one of those sliding windows you have. Let's see, paper windows, I guess, where they pop their heads, and they see a few of them, let's see, former Beast Pirate guards with a bunch of cat ears on, looking and cheering, looking and oogling or something. We don't know what they're exactly looking at, but nevertheless, let's see, they're too distracted to notice that Yamato and Tama are here, so it leads a bit of intrigue of what exactly they're looking at. So, yeah. Anyway, with that long recap, let's see, out of the way, let's see, on to the actual chapter itself, where we're at Oris Castle in Elbaf, where Road is explaining how, let's see, King Howard died 14 years ago, and that no one's actually dared to approach the castle. But then, of course, notice that someone has broken through the doors and there's no guards there. And Nami commenting how that's a bad sign, with Zoro pointing out that it was broken from the inside, not outside. Let's see, so realizing that someone actually came out of the castle rather than in, and Luffy's just like, we'll just go in, with who cares anyway, as he just wants to find the key to to like find Loki, while Zoro's just commenting how the destruction looks a bit fresh. But anyway, you get like they'll enter, if you will. Let's see, Rhodes is a bit terrified of the place, but Luffy is just amazed how huge the castle is. Nami comments how she can't even see the ceiling. Well, no, actually, Zoro says that, and then Nami thinks it's too big to walk across. With Luffy asking Rhodes where the key is, and Rhodes picking up Nami and Zoro, goes like how he's just a common man, so he's never really been inside the castle. Nami, in a sort of perhaps maybe a manipulative, flirty way, goes like, "We're lucky to have you with us," and he's like, see, blushing and thinking, "Really, Ultra Rare Nami?" With Zoro, I think saying, "I'm just thinking the same thing." Onward, clearly just Nami manipulating Road to carry them, so they don't have to walk. So you got that, and as they walk through the castle, Luffy is of course running because he's just too excited. Let's see if his little mini adventure. Well, I believe Road talk about how this is what it's like to come in here, overcome with both wonder and fear, saying that with the Straw Hats asking if all this destruction comes from the intruders. But I think Road explains that no, King Harold passed after vicious battle with Loki, and this is the scars of this fight. So the damage we're seeing is actually from the battle between, let's see, allegedly Loki killing King Harold, if you will. And Zoro says, like, this is some serious devastation, in which Road explains how Loki is a monster to be sure, but King Harold was also apparently a great warrior of his own, saying that destruction was inevitable. Luffy is shocked by the hugeness, and Nami is just utterly horrified by what we see is like a bunch of giant skulls that have been left like it's sort of a graveyard. And Rhodes says that there were many soldiers in the castle. And apparently Loki slew 100 warriors. Let's see, the same day he killed the king. And saying that the only survivors in the castle were like Chief Jaro and Loki himself. Let's see. And apparently it was such a shocking and bloodthirsty scene that it was agreed by the giants that the castle should be left sealed and then left untouched. So it became a sort of tombstone for like all the giants that were killed in the battle. With Rhodes talking about the possibility of it being haunted by vengeful spirits, Luffy is just saying, check out the skull, this one giant skull with horns on it, thinking how big it is and how it's got horns, reminding himself that it looks like Oz. With Rhodes explaining that that the largest bones belong to the warriors with the blood of ancient giants, saying there are no longer any pure-blooded ancient giants, but some traces are still in their history, if you will. It even says that King Howard himself was a very large and mighty, saying that he also had ancient giants' blood in him. And then points to a picture that is none other than King Harold himself, as we see a sort of muscular figure, and frankly, with a bunch of scars on around his top of his forehead, top of his head, if you will. And the mustache and beard that reminds you of kind of like Kaido. In fact, he looks very much like Kaido, which has led to multiple theories that King Harold might be Kaido's father, or at least has some sort of blood relation. But yeah. But anyway, he points to a portrait of like King Harold, declaring him as the man who loved peace and attempted to bridge a gap between Elbaf and the rest of the world. About how he was the greatest king in the history of Elbaf, they say. Luffy comments about how he looks strong. With the Road explaining how King Heart, the scarring on his head, is where he ripped out his own horns, saying that the mark of his ancient giant's blood, saying to him, ancient giants were a reminder of an era of war. Luffy is a bit shocked that he had horns, and so I was just looking at how it takes some serious guts. As we do see a silhouette figure of an ancient giant doing war, if you will, even if it's just like a very small panel, if you will. Anyway, Road goes about how His Majesty Steve's death was a shock to everyone, but it was hard on the other son that King Howard had, Hadrudin. It's none other than Hadrudin, which I think we got confirmed a few chapters ago, who has now resulted in him having the most hate for Loki of all. And this shocks Luffy and Nami, as Nami is surprised that they are brothers. And Road explains that they are from different mothers. With Hadrudin being born to a woman prior to Howard's marriage to the Queen of the Giants. And it's revealed that the reason, and that Elbaf did not consider Hadrudin's mother to be queen is because, they didn't really want to allow it because it turns out he was actually from a different giant nation when asked by the Straw Hats. With Zoro was going like, does it really matter if you're all giants? With Road pointing out, saying, well, we're all giants, but he goes like, do you humans not wusses as well? And Zoro realizes, oh yeah, you got a point. So it's like showing that giants are a lot more similar to humans than we are perhaps initially thought. As Luffy is running up the stairs while they're talking. As Road goes on about how giants from other areas will tarnish the blood of Elbaf, with Nami going like, you have some really bigoted views about other giants and humans, but Road goes like, but you're different. But Nami's go like, don't suck up to me, scum. He's going like, oh. But anyway, Zoro sends like, so if Hadrudin's blood is tarnished, asking why he would join his crew in the first place. And Road starts to explain, showing to a flashback that he is bullied for being a weird nerd or a creep, if you will. As he's crying, seeing a bunch of giant kids make fun of him. As I think we see a bunch of his tall figures on the floor. But we see Hadrudin go like, wow, this is amazing. You can actually draw sea charts. Asking him how to do it, and then asking him if he wants to be his friend. And this gets Rodo blushing, thinking that, ooh, friend. So we got that. And Road says, unlike him, he's truly honest and straightforward man. Saying, despite being able to live in the castle with his father and seeing his mother was tormented, saying withstood all that pain and said, I want to unify all of Giant Kind as we cut to like Hadrudin and the rest of the New Jersey Giant Warrior pirates celebrating and partying as he goes like, I'm the man who will be king of all the giants. I know I can do it. As you got a bunch of onlookers, particularly some of the female giants, go like, Hadrudin, hot eyes, showing at the very least these villagers seem to at least support Hadrudin compared to maybe the rest of Elbaf at the very least. But Road going about how blushing, how he wants to help his dream come true. And so I was just dismissing it, saying, so you can be reasonable after all, kind of boring. Nami's laughing. Now, granted, I think depending on which translation you hear, Zoro is just going like, oh, how cliche, sort of like motivation, as the laugh of Nami is supposed to be more in the terms of like, commentary, as this sort of like Zoro's line, sort of commentary of like him being in a very similar manner of supporting a person that wants to become king of all pirates, while Road is supporting someone that wants to be king of all giants, if you will. So we've got a little bit of that, little tongue in cheek here. But anyway, the scene then cuts to like Luffy saying, hey guys, come out here and check this out, saying how some giants are knocked out. And that's when the scene changes, but I'm going to like give my thoughts on this part here. First of all, I do like how it's very fun seeing like the original trio just having a little mini adventure exploring a haunted, a graveyard castle, if you will. Granted, they have a giant escort along the road, but arguably they probably need a giant to help them, get to like travel across like a giant castle that where it would take them pretty much forever to walk around. So but yeah, it's just sort of like their pet or servant along the road, technically, with how Nami's treating him. But interesting thing we learn is the fact that let's see, King Howard actually died 14 years ago, which is a bit surprising because, as far as I'm aware of, everyone thought that, let's see, this happened more around like 6 years ago when, let's see, Loki ended up, let's see, got beaten by Shanks, and then he became an emperor and all that stuff. But no, it seems like Loki, let's see, was at least let's see, did it 8 years prior to that and caused some havoc across the seas before finally being beaten by Shanks, which makes me wonder, like, the whole theory that let's see, Shank, let's see, the evil evil Shanks, or like the evil Shanks came 6 years ago to steal his god fruit, and let's see, Loki ate it before he could do so, and then framed. Maybe not exactly true, but we'll have to wait and see on that regard. At this moment, I'd say that sort of belief on like Loki might not necessarily at least that one about Loki and King Howard might not be true, but we'll have to wait and see. It could still possibly be true, but then you just got like Loki going on a rampage for like 8 years before fighting Shanks, but we'll have to wait and see. Granted, this might be an error on Oda's part, but given the fact that it seems to be done from official translation, that seems to be the case. But I don't know. We'll have to really see what this Loki and King Howard flashback will end up being, and showing what actually happened. But yeah. Anyway, I do like how Zoro is being a bit itsy, sort of like the detective here, by pointing out how the doors that's been smashed open, that's not supposed to be smashed open, is actually done from the inside, and it's fresh, showing that he suspects that's giving a hint that these are more recent, and that someone has been here recently. But of course, due to the fact that Luffy's in a bit of a rush to get Loki's key, isn't really given time to think. Talk about the possibilities of this door being busted. So, but I do love how excited Luffy is about the scale of like this castle. And I do like how we learn that from like Nami's perspective that the castle is so huge that you can't even see the top roof bit of it. But yeah, well, at least I mean Zoro's saying I keep getting Nami and Zoro mixed up. But yeah. And we do learn a little bit that Road has never actually been in the Giant's castle. But yeah. Anyway, I do like let's see, granted, I suppose I'm a little mixed, but I suppose it is a bit about Nami trying to be manipulating Road to be flirty and like in order to like get him to walk him across and all that stuff. But it is in Nami's character to take advantage of let's see, I guess you could say womanizers and perverts to follow her commanders. As she does with Sanji, and it's doing the same trick with Road, saying, I'm glad to have you along, just to manipulate him to like carry her up and then walk across like the castle so she doesn't have to walk. But I do like how also Zoro seems to be taking advantage of that as well and having him pick him up as well. So it's like a bit funny how they're using him for everything it's worth after he sort of like kidnapped them, if you will. So you've got that, though. I think some people might be a bit more mixed because of like the fact that Road sort of undressed them, against their will, if you will. But nevertheless. Anyway, we learned that the castle hasn't really been touched in like 14 years, and I suppose another destruction is from the battle between Loki and supposedly his father. But yeah, I will admit, I do like how the sort of like the drawings and the artwork of how devastating the castle is. Broken down, trees growing, rubble all over the place. And I even like how Zoro talks about how devastating the after effects are. We also learn that King Howard was also a great warrior, despite being a peaceful man. But yeah. So it seems like he was one of those warriors that had experienced life of violence before deciding that, peace might be the better option, which is quite interesting for his, I guess, character. But anyway, other than that, I do like it. We learn more of we learn that, let's see, 100 giants were also killed. Alongside the king, but only Loki and Jarl ended up surviving, which, granted, given the fact that Jarl has a sword for his head, which implies that he's got some very serious brain damage. He's the only survivor and witness to see other than Loki, to see what's going on. But since he's been stabbed, he's probably got not the best memory of what actually happened. So that definitely leads to probably a plot point of perhaps maybe the sword being removed, possibly by Chopper, and then him able to clarify what actually happened 14 years ago. But at the moment, he's the only witness besides Loki, and you're probably going to have to wait for him to review what actually happened, whether or not it was say the God's Knights that killed the king, or it turned out King Harold is more like an evil king, and that Loki is actually the good one, and it's that sort of context there. But yeah. But it is interesting the fact that this place was a bit of become a giant graveyard and was left untouched as a result of the whole horrific thing. But we also learned that, amongst these giants are horns of the ancient giants, and we also learned that there are no pure-blooded ancient giants left, but the blood of ancient giants still flows through some of the giants of Elbaf, and as a result, they have some horns, and some of them bigger. I do like how Luffy just gets excited about the horned ones since he recalls Oz. And we finally, of course, get a glimpse of what King Howard actually looks like, and apparently he also had some ancient giant's blood, but he was so committed to peace, he removed the horns because he saw them as violence. And as a result, you got Zoro commenting about how he seemed dedicated to his ideals and all that stuff. But interesting enough, we finally get a glimpse of him, and he looks a lot like, basically, like I said, looks like kind of a lot like Kaido, which is like I said a bit earlier, all those Kaido, they got a bunch of theories of wondering if Kaido is King Howard's son, but I think he's probably a bit too small for that. But it is interesting that the fact that the fact that we learned that they're giants with ancient blood giants with the horns, that leads to wonder that if all the humans that we've seen or members of the Beast Pirates like Yamato, Kaido, and Black Maria, a few others, I think, Uti and Page 1, they all have horns, which makes wonder if any of them have ancient giants' blood in their veins. And they might not be giants, but they seem to have at least their blood in their veins, and as a result, that's why they have the horns. Granted, it's probably going to be a theory that many are going to speculate. I'm not sure if Oda ever confirmed that theory or not. So it's quite interesting that we have that. But yeah. Anyway, it's interesting that King Howard is regarded as the greatest king in Elbaf history, and Road talks about how he wants to build a bridge between the world with love and peace. Granted, he seems to many people thinking that, you got some people starting to believe that King Howard might not actually be a good guy, in fact, might actually be the bad guy, which probably basing off of the Mother Carmel situation of what appears to be a lovely person is actually a human trafficker, which some think that King Howard might be trying to trick the giants into love and peace so he could sell off their people to the world government, and Loki found out and killed him. I'm not sure if that theory is true, and I'm more likely, at the moment, I think I'm more favor of the God's Knights just trying to kill King Howard to get his devil fruit, but Loki stopped them from doing so and then got framed, rather than, I guess, that one. But who knows? We have to wait and see. I mean, if it does happen, who knows? But yeah. But I do think it's given how Oda's writing of kings who try to yearn for peace is arguably the best kings, Cobra and Riku. I have a feeling that Oda might try and keep that with Howard, but he was like a former warrior that no longer wants to do violence. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. You know what? Let's see. It's particularly that. Let's see. Loki flashback. And this is where we got full-on confirmation that Hadrudin is Loki's brother, an older brother, but and the Straw Hats learn it, and the fact that but the reason that he's not like king now is because his mother was a giant from another nation, and we learned that Elbaf giants are a bit more like humans than we what with terms of prejudice of purity of blood. Do not want to like have the royal bloodline tainted by non-Elbaf giant blood. So as a result, Harold's mother was not allowed to marry the king, and he's probably more considered like a more of a, I guess you could say, let's see, Game of Thrones style base-born children like Jon Snow was regarded for throughout the majority of Game of Thrones. So, oops, sorry, on. Chapter nearly low on charge. Nearly low on charge. Let me just quickly put the charger in. Let's see. Whoop. On. Plug it in. Plug it in. Plug it in. Sorry about that, people. Anyway, where was I? Yes. But yeah, since his mother was not a pure-blooded giant, he could not really become a official king and prince. It is interesting how let's see, you get and like the giants have that prejudice, and I do like how Zoe at first was asking like, "What does it matter? You're all giants." But then Road has a sort of explanation about how, let's see, do you humans not wage war over land and resources? Which I do like how Zoe says you have a point there. Fair enough, but yeah. But we end up seeing Road being a bit pretty racist a little bit about how not to punish the blood of pure giants, but Nami calling out this with Road trying to say, except for you, because he's like a mega gitsy otaku geek. But Nami, I do like that, even though I was a bit mixed on her flirting earlier. It's like, watch your place, you scumbag. Let's see. And then it's like forcing him to shut up on that regards. But we end up seeing perhaps maybe once at least the first decent quality of Road that we have yet to see throughout most of his time that we've seen in Elbaf, where after Zoro asks him like, if Hadrudin has tarnished blood, why are you in his crew? Where we get a flashback of him being picked on by kids, which to be see for having like sort of like those creepy obsessions, really. But seemingly made a friend with Hadrudin, with the fact that he could draw maps, and then which he was impressed by and asked him to be his friend. So, but yeah, so it's like Hadrudin, at least was willing to be Road's friend after being picked on, after he was picked on by other kid giants for his lifestyle. Granted, Hadrudin would probably later come to find Road to be a bit disgraceful with his behavior. Let's see down the line, particularly when he sort of like captured the Straw Hat and forced him to be his like toys, if you will, and sort of excluded him from introducing him to the rest of his crew. But it does seem like there is some genuine friendship there, at least in the childhood, and that Road does have a sense of loyalty to him, and let's see, and he wants to like and he wants to follow his dream of uniting all giants someday. But yeah, and it actually admires the fact that Hadrudin, despite being not really living in the castle with his father and his mother, being regarded as an outsider, he would sit on this pain and wants to try and unify all of giant kind and becoming king of all giants. Which arguably you could say it's a bit of a noble goal of like uniting all the giants so that they won't discriminate and hate each other. As we've seen that the Elbaf giants even fight amongst themselves when it comes to regards of Nika. The sun god, if you will. But yeah. But I do like how Road just basically is kind of like Zoe of like wanting his dream to come true, and you got Zoe kind of like oh, how boring. And it's like, no, and I like how Nami's laughing. You're pretty much like him, Zoro. So, which I doubt Zoro probably wants to be compared to like Road, but nevertheless, that is. It is interesting that we do see a panel of like Hadrudin at the very least being popular amongst the village, the giants in that village, but there are probably more giants elsewhere now, Buff, that don't really like him that much, or at least don't consider him to be pureblood enough, but we'll have to wait and see. But it is like interesting that we got like that little aspect of let's see Hadrudin, let's see a bit more of Hadrudin's character, like okay, this is what happened to his past due to his parents. But he wants to strive to be a giant that, let's see, unites all giants together, and is willing even to befriend like Road after being impressed by his roadmaps. As a result, you got Road being sort of like a, let's see, loyal follower, and we've got someone called CXCRJS saying Shanks dies. To be not yet at the very least. If he dies, I do not think it will be in this arc. So yeah. So we have that little bit here, a bit of aspect there. Anyway, what was I? Oh yeah. So yeah, basically learned quite a lot about Hadrudin in this chapter. Probably why he, let's see, wanted like the devil fruit. Let's see why he wanted the flame fruit, as his like family's devil fruit was pretty much allegedly stolen by Loki. And he probably said he'll be king of the giants when he was like first introduced before Luffy one-shotted him. But yeah, whether or not Hadrudin would one day become that sort of like united ruler remains to be seen. But at the very least, it's a sort of let's see, long-term goal where he has of a small crew to try and achieve that at first before growing in size later. Anyway, it's interesting to the fact that Luffy has found out a bunch of giants knocked out, which the God Knights didn't fully kill. So, granted, the Straw Hats, at least the trio, are about to learn that apparently two cloaked figures had entered the place, and one of them might possibly be, let's see, who looks like a lot like Shanks, which evil Shanks, Twin Fury coming in. Anyway, we now cut to like the rest of the chapter, if you will, where we see the underworld of Elbaf, where we hear Loki being beaten up with a woman's with the female God Knight Gonko saying it isn't sinking in yet, as Loki's just saying he can't really move after panting from like all the damages he'd taken. With the evil Shanks saying how it doesn't change our question, and Gonko goes like a member of the common rabble. As she goes getting all offended by the fact that he has a chance to join the ranks of guards, saying it's a miracle only one can dream of, and let's see, they're offering you that miracle now, but you're objecting. But we see her arrows transforming her legs into giant legs, if you will, as we see her trying to stomp stomping the ground as they'll get an arrow coming right at it to attack Loki. As he curses that it's happening again with we see the arrows sort of like pointing around, white arrows pointing around in different directions, where Loki comments saying how your foot's going to accelerate to kick my right cheek, and then after turn the other way, with Gonko just staring down, preparing to like an arrow from her arm, as he goes like, you give me an uppercut with that fist of yours, and thanks for the heads up, as Loki is seeing basically the arrows very much predicting where she's going to strike. But Gonko says those arrows are confirmed path of my very future, saying it's a declaration of unavoidable violence, but it's saying it's also possible for me to change course. But she ends up asking Loki again if we join the God's Knights, if you will. But he, of course, shouts, no way, as the arrow comes in and attacks, punching Luffy in the side, if you will, as Gonko's kicking. And then Gunko spins, creating a giant fist, punching him in the chin in a sort of uppercut fashion. As Loki's head starts falling down, we then start to see that more of the let's see, basically all of Loki's animals, like the giant polar bear, or just bear, the gorilla, and the snake, have also tried to come and help Loki, but they've all been damaged and possibly killed. With Loki's just panting as let's see, cursing them to say that they will regret this. With as Gunko prepares more arrow attacks, with him going like, "Stop! Enough of this already." With Gunko saying, "Len, will you join us?" And Loki just ends up shouting, "Ah!" before passing out. And this is where the cloaked evil Shanks tells Gunko that it's enough. As then he sort of like unhoods himself, as we see a full-on view as he says, "Let's change tactics and contact Marijwa," as we then see his full body of his cloak on hood, where we see he pretty much looks like Shanks, but has like sort of like noble sort of like, let's see, how should I describe them, locks around his ear, let's see, around the top of his ears, sort of like making his hair go long on the back. And he seems to be wearing a sort of like let's see, how you could say, French or British, let's see, 17th or 18th century military uniform, if you will, with like a sword in his hat, with like his hand resting on like his sort of like a rapier-like sword, if you will. I could be pronouncing, maybe not really a rapier sword, but the handle makes you think of it a little bit like that. As he says, he's sickened of all these useless people. I hope we could settle this with something much more clearly. But I'm going to say, indeed, it seems he'd rather die than join us. And the question is, it's some sort of religious thing. As we get the sort of like text box saying, "Commander of the Holy Knights, World Noble, Figland Shamrock, son of St. Garland of the Five Elders." And Gunko, who we see has both her arms now massive giant things, as it says, "Holy Knights, Gunko, Arrow Woman, Arrow Fruit." As Shamrock goes like how the fiercest warriors of Elbaf who conquered the New World long ago, saying that we will be brought under the command of the world government once and for all, as Loki seems unconscious as he declares this, ending the chapter. All right, first of all, overall thoughts. We see, let's see, it's like, let's see, we finally learned we actually get to see what was the result of Loki refusing to join the Gods Knights last chapter, and we see it's pretty much him being beaten, let's see, bloody, until he can actually changes his mind and says, "Okay, I'll join you guys to stop punching or kicking me." As we're doing it, and we're seeing Gunko basically doing all the sort of physical violence, and not, let's see, directly with her fists in general, but let's see, we end up seeing we learn that she basically has the arrow fruit, which apparently allows her to make her legs and arms, at least boots and gloves that she might have on, to like increase her sort of like size, if you will. And I do like the sort of creativity that she looks like she has very large walking sticks, if you will. And we also learn that her arrow fruit is like, it gives a sort of shows what direction that it's going in, but it's impossible to avoid or dodge these attacks from it seems like. It seems like at best you need to see, like most devil fruits, you probably need a little strong arm hockey to like block the attack, or maybe something else to block it. We'll have to wait and see. But either way, it's a pretty cool ability, and I do like how you got her like just enlarging herself and then preparing and using the arrows to show attacks, if you will. That allows us to confirm her path, and that's a saying, and making it saying like her attack is unavoidable. So I do like the fact that we learned that about her power. and it's continuing to like try and threatening Loki with this power that he'll continue to hurt him until you agree to join the Gods Knights. But I do like how Loki is just determined with his beliefs, refuses no matter how many times he gets beaten, even when you get punches to the left and then gets an uppercut, which was predicted by Gunko. So like that. I do like that you see the other animals also try to come in to help Loki, but they all seemingly got killed, which is a shame because I do like those giant animals. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's see, and it's a shame, but it was probably hinted that with the last chapter, like Loki, well, like maybe lost a friend of his, like giant wolves, if you will. We'll take that rage to avenge them down the line, which no doubt that with all his giant animal friends dead, he will try and take that vengeance soon. Well, granted, at first it does look a little bit like Loki might, stuff enough already, then it looks like, all right, you might actually now take the offer, but instead just shouts and screams in pain. But yeah. But anyway, I do like that we now got confirmation that, yes, this is an evil Shanks. And yes, the evil Shanks is not actually Shanks. It's actually we finally got his name, Shamrock. And I do really like his design of like looking like a sort of French or British noble military general, if you will. And that, and that he has a very different hairstyle to Shanks. So he's not, he's more likely his evil twin, if you will. And people can stop saying that, oh, this is like, oh, no, it's still actually Shanks. No, this is Shamrock. Possibly his twin brother. And no, Shanks was never part of the Holy Knights. And it seems like, nope, he was never in that meeting with the five elders. That was Shamrock. So, yeah. Props to Oda for like long-term planning, I guess. But, yeah. It's Loki. It's the evil Shanks theories are sort of Shanks is not a rat, as some people apparently been saying. But yeah, we get an idea, and the fact that we learned that yes, he is Saint Figalan's son. So yeah, and that he is the commander of the Holy Knights. Granted, not the supreme commander, but the commander. So it implies that okay, he was probably the right hand to like Figalan, and now probably the actual leader of the Gods Knights, if he has not also lost that title while becoming a member of the Five Elders, if you will. But yeah, it is interesting that we learned that his goal is try and get Elbaf to join the world government, as they were the giants that once conquered the New World long ago. But it's like, okay, it's time to finally get the giants under command, and it seems like they were trying to use Loki because he's the Prince of Elbaf to use his sort of authority to become like, the next king, and then have the giants join the world government, but clearly that plan's not working if Loki's refusing and now is on conscience, if you will. But yeah. So I do like that, and but I do like how when he realizes that the tactics aren't working, let's contact Marijois. And even though he's a bit and we do also learn that he's a bit, more of like a calm as Shanks, but has much more nasty rhetoric as he goes on about how, talking about the useless people, causing them problems and all that. And I wish he could have settled this more quickly, but nevertheless, which of course you see Gunko agreeing and thinking like, oh, okay, yes, indeed, you rather die and join us, wondering if it's some religious thing, but I think it's more just Loki's will, if you will. But it is interesting that Gunko in her text box, she's still just referred to as Gunko, and like, of course, her devil fruit powers, but no, Saint, in her title, but then again, if his translation doesn't have like Saint Figalan Shamrock in like his one, so that might be some people just wondering like, is she not actually well noble? But who knows? And so all kinds of crazy theories, but we'll have to wait and see what Oda's going to do with this character in the meantime. But yeah, but I do like how the Giants are like, okay, we'd rather like the Gods Knights like, okay, let's see, we could just recruit Loki and get him to recruit the Giants to the world government, but no, it looks like it's not working. We're going to have to do this the hard way, but it's like, one way or another, they're going to try and get those giants to join, which I doubt could happen, but we'll have to wait and see. But overall, I'd say this is a pretty good chapter, if you will, where we learn a bit more of like how King Hal died 14 years ago and what he actually looked like. He had the bloods of ancient giants in him, but he was committed to his like ideals of peace, but he torn them off. And we also learned, of course, like Hedrudin was his son, which I think we did see in one of the chapters a while back, but this pretty much outright confirms. And the reason why he was never becoming a king is because, well, let's see, his mother's not a pure blood one, and we've learned a lot more about giant prejudice and discrimination against each other, particularly giants and Elbaf with everyone else. But also we see a bit more of like the dynamic of Nami, and so manipulating Road, but also treating him like trash, while also showing him that Road has some more decent qualities to him of like being very loyal follower of Hedrudin after he befriended him when he was younger. Though granted, that might be a bit of a stretch for some people, given the fact that some think he probably wouldn't actually deserve redemption for what he did, but who knows. I think Oda just views Road as one of those more jokey gag characters than like downright evil ones. But at the very least, he's giving some decent quality of like let's see, supporting Hedrudin's dream, if you will. That even Zoro compares, let's see, unironically compares him to, let's see, Road to that regard. But or at least saying how their stories sound similar. Other than that, I do like that we finally got confirmation on that the evil Shanks is actually possibly isn't actually Shanks, and it's probably likely his twin, and that Gunko has the confirmation that Gunko has the arrow throat, which is apparently a design that Oda's been trying to introduce the story for years, but now finally done it, and arguably to one of the most probably deadly antagonists that we are seeing at the very least in this arc. And learning of the world government's plans to try and finally recruit the giants via Loki, but that's not working now, so we have to wait and see what he will do. But yeah, overall, I give this chapter probably an 8.5 out of 10, maybe a 9. Pretty good chapter, and but yeah, and we'll wait and see what Shamrock is doing, as well as how Luffy will and the rest of the crew will respond to the knocked out giants. But for now, I am Blue Star Saber signing off. Thank you for all those who joined in and listened to what I say. I hope you enjoyed what I said, and goodbye for now.